Hello, this is Miho from Canada. How are you guys doing? I hope mental and physical health are good and fit. So today I'm gonna talk about emotions. Where does that emotion come from? And this is something that really happened to me today in a parking lot. I was parked and I thought, oh, maybe I'm just too close to the car next to me, right? But you can still go by, so I just stay there. Then all of a sudden, I hear these angry comments and literally yelling at me that, what did he say? All the places to park the car, and you had to park so close to my car. You are so, S head and S this, and you know, it was badly expressed. And I thought to myself, wow, he's really angry for the things that to me it's not that important. Like I wasn't scratching or putting a dent into the car or anything like that. I was just be close, but I was within the the lines, and I said to him, or I gestured to him like, okay, just a moment, I will move, somewhere else. But he kept going with his words. And by that moment, I thought, okay, he just wanted to let that out. He had something inside, needs to come out. And this is the perfect opportunity, that's given opportunity to let his frustration out. It didn't matter. It could be me, it could be you, it could be something else. It just happened to be there. So that's how I shift my mind to. If I didn't know this, probably I carried this negative, the comments and put myself down, feeling down, and it carried on for a day, maybe 2 days or 3 days. Who knows? It just repeats in my head, and I start to analyze, start to blaming myself, like did I do something that bad, or it's just cursing my bad luck or something like that, right? But when you really sit back and think about it, the fact itself, maybe to now is a coronavirus, people have this thing about the spacing, right? So maybe to him it was way too uncomfortable, and I get it, so I'll be very careful the next time. But it's not something that you need to yell at to me, right? But you kind of accept a different level of tolerance, right? And then you don't really need to deal with that way either. You could just tell what you feel instead of just raging, out in S and F words, right? And so when you think about a situation like this, the emotions, the driver behind the emotions are two things. It's either full of love or full of fear. And humans cannot express those two at the same time or feel both emotions at the same time. So you're either one or the other. So when you get into the situation, for instance, you're nervous or have a doubt or question or, like agitated, you ask yourself, are you operating from the fear or the love? Love is something you feel so acceptance, you can release, you can let go, and you can forgive yourself and others. And you feel so calm and feel good inside. So that means you can really express who you are or being who you are. Very comfortable spot. Whereas when you feel emotions out of fear, like I said, it's making you feel really choked, angry and all those negative emotions, right? So you encounter a certain situation like today that I encountered this situation out of blue, right? And it's a different perspective too. To me, it wasn't that a big deal, but to him, I was too close into his space, right? And then he must have had some issues or some anger all built up, and that was a given opportunity for him to let that go. I happened to be there, and it could be you and could be something else, right? And he had this build up anger or frustrations, and he just let it out. And I was like, brush it off. And you will become this stage as well. It's a process. I wasn't like this at all before. I probably dread on it. I cursed in my bad luck, and I just felt bad for days after, right? And then also, you are perfect as is. You don't need to seek for a validation or fight for the validation, or you don't need to work hard to make others see your worth. You are perfect as is at this given moment. That's something you need to keep that in mind, and then you just keep going, right? Because you're doing the best you could at that given moment. When you look back in hindsight, you will say, oh, why should I do this and that? I could have done this way and that way. That's because you've gone far out. Like you've grown so that you could look back and see where you were. So that meant you grew that much, right? So that you have the comparison to see yourself now and then. But now at this moment, you're doing your best at a given situation and given ability and knowledge, and you're making the best decision then, now. So think you as, you're the perfect as is, and just let go of those control. Let go of the control, meaning like let go of those fear, so that, those ego and frustration will be just washed away, and it would be much easier to live your life. Okay, and occasionally, those events were thrown at you as a spice, and then that's a good time to reflect yourself and how you feel. Like to me, before I felt really bad, like it ruined my whole day, literally. Like why somebody had to call me like SNF, right? But now I can just release it and let go, and I know where is he coming from. And those irritation feeling is building up things, has nothing to do with you personally. So you have shifted. So that's how you could tell yourself that where you've been and where you've shifted to, by those. It looks like a bad event, but it really kind of measurement of where you're at in a stage of life or the way of your growth. Okay, so see you to the next video. Bye-bye.